So Robinhood just announced their all-new Platinum Card, not to be confused with the Amex Platinum, and the question is it any good? This card is generating quite the buzz in the credit card community and is the first foray into the premium credit card space for Robinhood, following up on their very popular no annual fee gold credit card, which is one of the most popular cashback credit cards out there. So in this video, I want to cover what the Platinum Card offers and ultimately if it's worth adding to your wallet. So most notably, right off the rip, this card comes with a whopping $695 annual fee, which puts it comfortably in the premium credit card space, where you see some options on the lower end of the spectrum, like the Venture X, which comes with a $395 annual fee, all the way up to the Amex Platinum, which has an $895 annual fee. However, the difference here is that this card earns cash back instead of transferable points currencies, which Robinhood deposits into your account. But as with any premium travel card with a high annual fee, this card has to be offering a lot of value to make it worth it. And Robinhood intends to do just that by offering over $3,000 in credits, which adds it to the list of coupon book credit cards that are very polarizing. Some people really despise cards like this, while others who find the credits useful love it. So with that being said, let's walk through the credits first so you can get a sense of whether or not this card might be for you, as this is where you earn most of your value year over year. So first on the list is a $300 travel credit, which is split into two $150 credits every 6 months. This credit is applicable to things like rideshare services, hotel charges, flights, etc. And most importantly, it does not have to be used in the Robinhood travel portal to trigger the credit. Instead, you can book directly with the airline or hotel chain and it will be recognized and the amount will be automatically credited. In my eyes, this credit is super useful if you find yourself traveling every 6 months or so. So for me, this is a win and $300 of easy value. Next up, we have a $500 hotel credit, which again is split up into 2 credits every 6 months for $250 each. Unfortunately, this credit is a little bit more nuanced and harder to get the full value out of. The reason being is that to get the full $250 credit, you have to jump through some hoops. First, you have to book through the Robinhood travel portal, which is not ideal, but also not a reason to chalk this credit off completely. But second, you have to use it on luxury hotel bookings specifically. Instead, if you use it for a standard hotel booking, you will only get a $100 credit or $200 for the full year. And then third, you have to book a minimum of 2 nights for the credit to even trigger. For some people who really enjoy booking luxury travel and pay cash regardless for these nice stays, then this might be something valued at the full $500. But for me, and I think a vast majority of the users, this isn't super helpful, and the different restrictions make this less than good. On the surface, this credit sounds like it would be great, but when you dive into it, it's not really what it seems, and as you're going to see, this is going to be a theme with a lot of the credits on this card. The next credit on this list, which is more of a benefit than like a true credit, which is Priority Pass lounge access for the cardholder. This is standard for the premium credit card space, and notably, like some other Priority Pass benefits on other cards that people don't like, this only gets the cardholder lounge access and doesn't allow you to bring anybody else in. And unlike some of the other options like Chase or Amex, Robinhood doesn't have their own lounges that are offered. But with that being said, Priority Pass access is still super nice to have if you don't already have it through another card. So in my eyes, this is a good credit. The next credit on the list is Global Entry / TSA PreCheck, which is valued at $120 every 4 years, which is enough to cover your global entry cost, which renews every 5 years at a $120 price point. Again, most premium travel cards offer this, but if you don't already have this, it's a super good travel credit. Next up is the $250 autonomous ride credit, which you have to give it to Robinhood, is a very unique offer. Most cards offer credits for other rideshare services, but this is the first one I've seen targeted to autonomous vehicles only, which is just kind of crazy if you think about it. If you were to tell somebody 15 years ago that they could order a self-driving car to pick them up. But regardless, this credit is split up into 12 monthly credits of $20 with an additional $10 in December, making it $30 for the last month of the year. The usefulness of this credit largely depends on if you live in a city where autonomous rides are even available, because if you're outside of the major cities that offer it, you would probably value this at $0 like I would myself. However, if you are in those cities, then maybe this is a great credit to have. For purposes of tracking credits, I will say this is a mediocre option at best, considering the limited availability of these sort of rideshare services. Then next on our list, we have a $250 restaurant credit, which again is split up into 12 $20 monthly credits with an additional $10 in December. This credit is only eligible at select restaurants, which Robinhood has on their list, which right now has over 15,000 locations. Again, the usability of this credit is going to largely come down to if the restaurants you like to eat at are on the list, But in my eyes, this dining credit is good because there are quite a few decent options in my opinion. Then next up, we have the DoorDash credits, which is twofold. One, you get a DoorDash membership, which is valued at $120, which is nice. And then you also get $250 in credits, split up into 12 $10 monthly credits with an extra $10 in January. However, like I mentioned earlier, this credit isn't all that it seems to be, because if you look at the fine print, these credits only apply if your DoorDash order is more than $50. So maybe if you use DoorDash a lot, or when you do use it, it's for expensive meals, but in my opinion, this $50 minimum makes this credit almost worthless. So I would advise you to be cautious with this one. Next up, we have a $70 Aura credit. Again, this is another nuanced one, and the only way you get it is if you opt into the credit through Robinhood and purchase an Aura ring with a prepaid annual membership, and in turn you'll be credited the $70 for the membership. However, the disappointing thing about this is that it only applies to new ring purchases, so if you already own one, this credit is pretty much useless. Moving further down that list, we have a $200 wearables credit, which can be used for qualifying health wearable purchases like Whoop. And this is great if you're already paying for these sorts of things, but if they aren't of any interest to you, this one again isn't very useful. Then next up, we have a $365 Function Health membership. Function Health is honestly a really cool lab testing and health company. However, I'm not sure how many people would be paying for this out of pocket if it weren't for the credit, so I don't really see much use in it when it comes to looking at it from a perspective of how valuable it is. It is a nice extra perk if you find the other credits useful, but I wouldn't value it very highly myself. However, that's the case with almost all of these credits, so your mileage may vary. And then finally, we have one last credit, which is a $190 Amazon One medical membership, which is cool if you already use them, but again, I don't think that will be many people watching. All in, these credits do offer a lot of value if you would actually use them. And even if you don't use all of them, like I wouldn't, you might still find a lot of value through a mix of the ones you do use. For example, looking at the ones I find useful, there's over $1,100 in value, which obviously offsets that annual fee. So needless to say, there is value to be had, but if you hate these coupon book style cards, this probably won't be the card for you. There is another credit-like thing that isn't specifically advertised as such, and that's that the card comes with complimentary Robinhood Gold status, which gives you access to some of Robinhood's investing perks like 3% IRA match, higher APY on uninvested cash, and more. This is nice if you use the Robinhood platform to invest, and certainly can bring you some value in the long run. Now, outside of all these credits, you will also earn cash back on all of your purchases when using this card. You'll earn 10% on hotels and rental cars booked through the Robinhood travel portal, 5% on flights booked through the portal, 5% on dining, and 1% back on everything else. When it comes to travel multipliers, these are some of the best you will see on a true cashback credit card. However, in comparison to points earning cards, these aren't anything special. For example, the Chase Sapphire Reserve earns 8x Chase points per dollar on travel booked through the Chase portal, which is 8% back if redeemed for cash back, which notably is slightly lower than the 10% on the hotels for the Platinum Card. But unlike with cashback cards, those 8x points can be transferred out to travel partners and potentially could be worth upwards of 16% back or more. And that's where I think the biggest disconnect between Robinhood and the customers is. They've clearly tried to tailor the spending multipliers on this card towards travelers. But most likely, if you're looking for travel rewards, you're better off going with one of the multitude of good points earning travel credit cards. There's a lot more travel value to be had there than here with the Robinhood Platinum Card. Now, there is a specific use case where I think this card does make a lot of sense, and that's if you cross off all three of these items. 1, you want cash back. 2, you already have the Robinhood Gold Card, which earns 3% across the board to pair with this Platinum Card. And 3, the credits provide you with a lot of value. So with all that being said, I personally don't think I will be adding this card, especially since I favor points earning credit cards, but I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments on if you think the Platinum Card is worth it, and if you like this video, please consider subscribing as it greatly helps out the channel, and check out this video over here that YouTube thinks you might like as well.